Hey guys, this is Shane with the Social Freedom Tribe. I wanted to come at you today with a gift of just sharing my process on this workshop I've been bringing so far of 2 hours of games to heal social anxiety. And my whole process is basically to get people into an altered consciousness flow state. And what that feels like is getting into this zone where you're have this excited energy that just wants to create, and it's the selfless feeling of not really worrying about how other people perceive you, and just focused on wanting to create something and bring it out into the world. So I'll go ahead and deconstruct this process as I'm sitting next to my deconstructed drum set that's kind of in my way. And yeah, so first, when I just started just jumping in and bringing this, I noticed that what got in the way of these flow states were these whole mindsets that didn't allow us to get into a creative space where people were focusing so much on like worrying about being judged or just filtering themselves that there just wasn't enough spare attention to go into flow. What is flow but when we're just our attention is just completely divided and only the parts of the brain that really help us with that task and just help us thrive and create, rather than this whole survival mechanism of what do people think of me, what's my identity, better not fail or make a mistake or anything like that. So basically I've noticed that with creative mindset. So rather than just jumping into flow, I actually had to put people through games that would get them into a creative mode rather than this judgmental shutting down mode. And then what I noticed is that when I brought that there wasn't as much confidence and energy to go into those mindsets or into those games where that whole dropping of the judgmental part of ourselves was part of the game. It was how you do better in the game. So, and I'll talk more about those pieces later, but what I first realized had to happen first was just going through bioenergetics and really getting the body excited, full of energy, full of confidence, rather than sinking low and hugging the self and just getting really small. I had people get big, feel what it's like to feel confident in their body, and really there's the great stuff on this. I just read the book Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheal, and I highly recommend that book. I also highly recommend their free videos online, and they have paid content that I'm sure is incredible. They're doing amazing work, and I highly recommend you check them out. But what they're saying in the Stealing Fire book is that the body is less, or the brain body is less like an operating system and more like a user interface. Basically, if we want to feel confident, we start getting big. And Amy Cuddy has stuff on this too. I believe her name's Amy Cuddy. I highly recommend checking her out as well. She's got free YouTube videos and they're amazing. And so when you get into that big confident space, you start shaking around, you start moving and bringing out some energy, then you have some energy and some confidence to start going into the games of creativity. If I was dull and not bringing energy, it's kind of hard to go want to create something and transform into somebody that, doesn't want to judge himself. So you gotta get big, put your shoulders back. There's a physical therapist, chiropractor that helped me understand to pretend like I just want a medal, and I'm wearing it around my neck, and I just like ever so slightly. I know I'm wearing a black shirt and there's a black fireplace behind me, so it's kind of hard to see, but just imagine you just want a medal and you ever so slightly want to show it off and just put out your chest, put your shoulders back, and then just start having a wide stance and throw your arms out really wide and big and just take up space. and it starts to feel really good. You start to feel really confident because this goes into the whole user interface mode where we're saying, I want to feel confident. And we just start pressing the buttons as if our body is a user interface. We say, confident, hit me. Or we can go into shy mode and then unconfident mode by being small. So we feel confident by just getting our bodies to feel confident. We get some energy in there, we start moving around, and then we get some excitement, we got some energy, we got some adrenaline just to get into these things. You can hear it in my voice that I'm starting to catch a flow already because I just really have this energy now that I've shaken up my body and gotten big. So then we could start going into grounding. And I like this because what I've noticed with people is that they don't really want to drop the judgmental part of themselves because the judgmental part of themselves is helping them, or they think that it's helping them because they think they're in an unsafe place, a non-safe place. And they think that because they feel that. So they don't want to drop this judgmental part of them yet until they're feeling de-stressed and their fight or flight system is calmed down and say, hey, you're in a place where you can relax and you can just let loose. So you start feeling that confidence, feeling that energy, and then we go into a grounding meditation where just 10 minutes of de-stressing, clearing out the stress, and this can be done just on your own, going into your body and just noticing what's going on with your heart and your chest and feeling any muscular tightness, feeling any stress chemicals like washing around in there, and then just with every exhale, try to clear out that stress and relax your muscles in your chest more and more. And you can feel into that right now and just start to clear out all that stuff in the chest. It's also a place where a lot of people might feel their anger. So if there's something frustrating that happened today or in traffic, maybe me saying this is like helping you remind you of something that's angry, some memory that's like making you angry right now. You can go into your chest and kind of relax that and really start telling yourself that you're in a safe place right now and you don't need this fight or flight response right now. And then I start bringing people into their heart and then into their stomach, where the stomach has a lot of stress and fear. Mostly this is the place where we really feel that fear. And so we can start doing the same thing on the exhale, just start clearing out the stress and relaxing the abdominals and the guts, and just start really getting ourselves to believe that we're in a safe place right now. You also go to the shoulders, neck, into the forehead, the scalp, the jaw, and just start really exploring your body. And obviously taking more time, I don't want to do that in this video, go through every single piece of the body and really start relaxing it. However, as a general idea, you can kind of get the point, and where if you just took the time to go into your body, clear out all these places, relax the muscles, then you'll start to feel that I'm actually in a safe place, and your brain starts to say, hey, I don't actually feel that fight or flight right now. I think I'm in a safe place. And it's kind of like a trick in a way, because it's just you're clearing out the stress. Your brain only thinks that you're in an unsafe place because you feel the stress. It doesn't have to depend on the place that you're actually located in. It's more about just what you're feeling in your body, and if you could relax that and de-stress, then you can start getting your brain to think that you're safe. Then we can start going into some creative mindsets, and I believe that I saw some videos on this, probably from Steven Kotler, Jamie Wheel, Jason Silva, and some other people, that apparently freestyle rappers, and I do a lot of freestyle rapping, and I really love it. Freestyle rappers, when they really get into their flow, that part of themselves that starts self-editing turns off, and they just start letting go and letting loose. And what's great about when you have some great people to do some freestyle rap with is if it's kind of understood that you don't actually have to rhyme, you don't have to be on rhythm, and you could just let loose. And the whole goal of it is to let loose and not to follow any kind of structure or anything like that. And once you start really seeing that, oh, it's just about letting loose, then that you'll start seeing that self-editing part of the brain is kind of just getting in the way. And in that judgmental part of the brain, it's just really getting in the way. It's getting in the way of creating faster. And the brain, you keep doing this challenge, and I like to do challenges where the whole point of it is to drop the judgment. So easier games than freestyle rapping. I think freestyle rapping is just a little bit much unless you are a freestyle rapper that just keeps practicing. However, for most people that come in, they're not going to want an intro on freestyle rap class. That I don't think so. What I try to bring is just games that are pretty easy, and they just get you to say words just off the cuff, and there's no wrong answers pretty much, and it's just the better way to do it, or the way to look better, or the goal of this, the intention behind it, is to try to go as fast as possible. And what happens if you keep doing for an extended period of time, going as fast as possible, just saying these words, then your brain will be like, hey, in order to go faster, I'm going to turn off this self-editing part, this judgmental part, and so that this person can just throw out words faster. So go into games like that where that's creativity mode, creativity mindsets, basically just shutting off the self-editing, the judgmental parts of ourselves, and then just throwing out there. And really, that's the start of flow, because flow is just when you have your attention divided into the right pieces that help the task. And turning off that self-editing is like a great way of doing that. And then what we do is, once we're there, I might do a re-energizer, getting some energy, or I might do a regrounding, depending on the vibe. But what I like to do is dance, because I found dancing to be incredible. Dancing with a particular context, though. So the context is the point of us going into this movement-based game is we're going to try to put our attention completely into our movements. So it's kind of like a backing up, zooming out meta way of saying, where is my attention right now? And then zooming into the task and saying, I want to completely put my attention into my movements. So we're trying to completely put our attention into our movements with some kind of dancing. And I like to put up like a slow starting song that gradually gets faster. I think Strobe by Deadmau5 is just an incredible song for that. And really, it just depends on your crowd as well. So it might have to be chill songs the whole time, or it might maybe you could just jump into it and go with a fast pace, depending on your crowd. I think the target market or the people that are with you really depend. So maybe country music and line dancing is actually the thing that will get people more into flow, because it's more understanding of exactly what movements to do. However, so the whole point of whatever you're going to do, or whatever kind of speed or music you're going to do, it's really important to have this context of, let's try to put our attention completely into our movements. And what ends up happening is, through an extended period of time, we start having this altered consciousness. What ended up happening last night was that a participant dimmed the lights, and that just made it an incredible experience. It was like we're in a completely different realm, and combining that with all the work that we did to get into an altered state of consciousness, of flow, it just really felt different, and it really accentuated that feeling of flow and that different state of mind. And so when we're in this place, when we're practicing in this place, and we just stay there for a bit, and we have this feeling of flow, at the tail end of it, we're so far past having social anxiety. A lot of people don't even come actually they're not socially anxious kind of people, and they're just really looking to learn. You don't have to have a problem to be curious about a solution. So a lot of people don't actually have social anxiety that are coming. However, it's really amazing, because we're so far past this social anxiety. we're now into this realm where we just have this excited energy that wants to create. And unfortunately, I end there. And my whole point of this is to get into that place. And then from there, that's when we start seeing the world differently. And it's going to be a temporary state. But the whole point of it is to kind of understand how we got there. And I hope this video provides that as well. So how do we get to that place where our self-editing is off, we're in an altered state of consciousness, we're so far removed from the social anxiety that plagued us before, where we were shutting off. We're feeling that energy and confidence. We just feel like we can do anything. We can take higher risks, and we just have, not only are we able to take those risks, we also have the mental capacity for to take those risks and succeed, because now our attention is in exactly where it needs to be to succeed. So it's kind of like you can actually feel into where your abilities are in that moment. And if you could kind of intuitively tell that you had strong legs that could jump high, then maybe that cliff jump where you can easily make it is less scary than if you're not as confident in your legs. So not only are you feeling more confident, you actually have better ability to do these things. And I'm not telling you to jump off a cliff. However, when it comes to little small things that aren't actually risks, but our mind sees them as risks, we're able to take that jump, that leap. We're able to see that girl in a coffee shop and then just sit down next to her and just say, "Hey, I'm Shane, how are you?" And then just start a conversation. We actually feel like we have the confidence and the ability to do that when it's not an actual risk, but our brain thinks it is, and we're able to do that in that moment. That's what I've noticed when it comes to social anxiety, and that's what I want to bring. And I hope this gets you as excited as it gets me, because I would love to create with all of you. I would love to see you take this and tap into this creative flow state, altered consciousness reality realm, and just start creating, because you guys are all incredible, lovely people, and what you have to bring to the world is just going to help everyone so much. And if I can just help even 1% of you, 1% bring that thing, then this is worth it. I love you all, and you are infinite. You have so much potential. Peace.